Yeah, good day, Classy. Thank you very much for your time and tuning on to Metric Hub. We are still pushing. I hope that term three, it went well, very well. We are just meeting today on lesson one, term four work. As we know, we are almost end of the year now. So let's just connect now. So therefore, when we go back to school, we will be done. So this is the first lesson of term four, resources and sustainability. We just want to understand the soil management issues in South Africa. Soil is one of our key resources. We need to talk about that and understand that as we look at resources, what causes resources depletion or finishing. We want to look at that, and then we will look at types of resources, renewable and non-renewable sources of resources. It will be very important that we tune on and we follow up to the end. We are going to talk about environmental problems that are arising as a result of resource utilization or exploitation. We need to understand that it's one of the key concepts that we need to understand in geography. Quite a lot of problems, socio-economic and also environmental problems that results from resource exploitation. So we need to look at them and be able to understand and relate them in the context of geography at a grade 11 level. We'll also finally look at sustainability. What is sustainability? And actually, how is it being sustained? How do we have sustainability being implemented? The three pillars of sustainability. This alone can give us a good introduction towards term for work. So without wasting any time, I would like us to quickly go into the content and share the notes and my presentation as we go right now. So in geography, a resource is a physical material or asset from the environment that humans find useful. It is found useful, it is found necessary, it is found necessary or valuable, which can be used to meet human needs. Human needs are met and facilitate economic activities. We are saying resources, they are there to assist, they are there to ensure human survival. They are found very necessary, they are found very useful, they are very valuable in terms of meeting human needs and therefore facilitating economic development. If you refer from the previous chapter, which we did in term three, we've been busy talking about we've been talking about resources, we've been talking about development. Yes, class. So resources are basically categorized or classified. We classify resources. They are classified as what they are divided into renewable and renewable resources. We say replenishing themselves naturally. They regenerate. They keep on renewing themselves naturally, or non-renewable, existing in limited supplies. So now, what we need to understand is that the concept of a resource is dynamic, meaning to say that it is changing with cultural values. It changes with cultural values, available technology, and economic feasibility over time. And the economic feasibility, we mean the economic importance, the economic value over time. We are saying economic feasibility, the economic value, which can also over time, because you know very well that life does change. Time changes everything. The time movement and the movement of time and expectations of people always changes the attachment of value to a resource by people. So therefore, we are saying we need to understand that resources, uh, the concept of a resource is always changing. It is ever changing because of cultural values. It is because of the transitioning and the changes in what in technology, and also the economic feasibility and the economic value of something, which can also change with time. So types of resources, I've already mentioned that we have got what we have got renewable resources that can replenish themselves at a rate comparable to their consumption, such as solar, wind, and timber. We are saying they are resources which are not which we cannot finish. Over time, when they are used, they are able to renew themselves, they are able to regenerate, they are able to keep on replenishing themselves. So we have got examples such as solar, we have got examples such as wind, as timber. I'm quite sure that we know very well that we can put our solar panels to harvest solar energy, but we cannot say that the solar energy or the solar system has been finished. However, what we need to understand is that we also have non-renewable resources, the non-renewable resources that exist in limited quantities and are consumed much faster than they can be replenished. So when we use non-renewable resources, they can be finished. They also exist in limited quantities. We can have them, but they are not forever there. When they are used, they can be finished. The rate of their usage also affects the longer they last. So when we have to talk about non-renewable resources, we are saying we have got examples such as fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are typical examples such of these. We have got coal, we have got oil, and also minerals. I'm quite sure that we have heard of mine dams. We have heard of ghost towns, which are towns which sometimes have been existed or have been formed as a result of if, a certain function and activity such as mining that has been happening there. So the mineral resources are examples of non-renewable resources which we say that they can finish. They cannot be when they are mined, when they are excavated, when they are consumed. Over time, they get finished. So we define them as non-renewable resources. So countries can try to develop to raise the standard of living and quality of life of their citizens because of the use of resources. The standards of life of people are dependent on the availability of resources. So, which we said again that when we're discussing development, it is quite understood that quality of life of citizens defines the standard of living. The standard of living is also dependent on the availability of resources. So this can only be done with higher resource base. When we have got enough resources, we are able to understand and we are able to uplift, we are able to improve the standards of living of people within a country. So in that respect, we are also supposed to understand that economically developed countries like such as we have got America, Britain, France, Germany, all with their success to their huge resources base, we are saying that they have got resources. We've mentioned above there that resources are also affected by what? By technological change. They are affected by many other factors that we talked about there. So developed countries, they do have the capacity, they do have this they have the equipment, they've got the machinery, they've got every other means of getting and extracting the benefits of resources by their means of production. So their means of production actually results in their what? In their success, because they are able to further manufacture, they are able to process various resources in order for them to cut to produce products that are useful to people, which are also internationally traded and so exported. So we need to look at how resources exploited, how are resources exploited and finished, how are resources exploited and finished. So with that in mind, are supposed to understand that resources depletion refers to over exploitation. It means finishing. In other words, we are saying finishing up of resources over time due to exploitation and exhaustion of raw materials within a region. So when with this we have talked when we talk about exhaustion of raw materials within a place, within a given locality, that defines resource depletion. So some exploitation of natural resources is essential for existence. We already indicated that human life cannot be defined, cannot be possible without the use or without the exploitation or without the manipulation and use of various natural resources. So if resources are used faster than they can be replaced, they will be finished. They will be what? They will be finished. If resources can be used faster than they can be replaced. Replacement, we say that it can happen naturally. So, for example, we talked about examples such as vegetation. They is quite a typical example where we talk about timber, that the vegetation can regenerate, can rejuvenate, can regrow, and all that. We are defining that in terms of what, of resource management. So the causes of resource depletion, what might cause resources to be finished, we talk about one, overconsumption. Overconsumption can result in resource depletion, which we are saying when resources are overused. This we can give an example of, such as we can talk about exceeding carrying capacity, exceeding carrying carrying capacity within a given place or in a given habitat, carrying capacity of a given resource. When the resource cannot sustain, we talk about this, it relates to overpopulation. This can relate to what? To overpopulation class. So now, increasing population and overconsumption, we cannot define them or we cannot explain them separately. These are interrelated terms. And therefore, technological and industrial development also result in resource depletion. When we look at these, resources can be extracted through natural or through various methods. So technological advancement in industrial development have came up with methods and ways of doing business, or methods of extraction and methods of resource use that can go deeper, or that can further, that can actually do more than usual. So in that regard, we can be able to cause resource depletion. Check, for example, we talk about the mining methods, which we talk about shaft mining. These are mineral mining procedures that can enable extraction of resources from very deep soil horizons. Unlike if it was done without what, without technological involvement or use, that was not going to be the same case. So mining for oils and minerals, we also call that, it can also call for resource what? Depletion. Mining, extraction of them, usage of the resources can also cause depletion. So what problems are caused by exploitation and natural resources? We are still looking and going towards our topic. We are still building understanding towards our topic. This basically still under the introduction that what are the causes? What problems are caused by exploitation of natural resources? We have got significant problems that include environmental degradation, environmental damage. Environmental degradation, we are saying environmental what? Environmental uh, damage, environmental destruction. So now, what we are looking at here is that we have got examples such as pollution. It's an example of environmental degradation. Give it in the context of mining. The processes and the procedures of mining results in both environmental, water, and land pollution. Pollution spillages, we talk about chemical spillages that also used in mining. They cause pollution. Deforestation, obviously, we talk about the cutting down of trees. Trees are cut. We are talking cut. It looks into cutting down of trees. Cutting down of trees, it's an example, it's a problem that results in what? In resource exploitation. Soil erosion, when land has been cut, when trees has been removed, the removal of trees results in washing away, the washing away of uh, top soils, top fertile soils, fertile soils from arable land, from arable lands. We are talking about lands that are set aside for farming. When the soil has been washed off, when the fertile soils, the top soils are removed, we have got problems to do with fertile soils that are is extensively washed off from the various land for agriculture, and loss of biodiversity. We talk about the loss of the disturbances of natural ecosystem, variety of nature. We are looking at variety of living organisms, variety of living organisms. That is also biodiversity, which disrupts ecosystems and contribute to climate change. I'm sure we have heard of, we talk about quite a lot of problems that we are having now. We talk about climate change, which results in what? In global warming. We have got global warming is also one other problem that we have there. We talk about problem that results there. We have got health related problems, health health problems that are coming as a result of global warming, which we talk about cancerous diseases that are caused because of very serious high temperatures, extensively high temperatures that are experienced in various places, climate change resulting in desertification. All these are various problems that are caused because of resource exploitation, desertification, the gradual processes in which or gradual change in a natural ecosystem from its beauty state balanced to a more or less desert environment, which is caused because of extensive cutting down of trees, reduction in rainfall totals, and also extensive temperatures. Those we cannot forget them as problems that arises in that regard. So it also leads to socio-economic issues such as water and food insecurity. We need to look at water security in South Africa, food security in South Africa, availability and we can talk about the rate availability of food and water to people. There are problems that we need to look at. Major health problems from pollution, displacement of communities. People are displaced, people are relocated, people are forced to move, to migrate, and increase the risk of conflict and social inequality. The social inequality, these are problems resulting from what? From poverty. Poverty results or causes people to always have conflict. People always to fight because of social inequalities. The gaps between the rich and the poor continuously to grow. Continuously grow. As a result, we have got problems that can also not be overlooked when we look at issues to do with resource exploitation. So basically, environmental problem that we have with the result, which results from which results from resource exploitation. We have already talked about what? About pollution. The extraction and processing of resources often pollute air. We have got machinery that is used there, which we talk about combustion that comes there. We talk about land, water, and negatively impacting on our ecosystems and human health. That is quite a very significant problem that we cannot overlook. Pollution in terms of various systems, land, water, and also air. They are caused because of resource exploitation. We talked about this one, environmental degradation. Soil deforestation, which has to do with clearing of forest for resources like timber. Timber is taken, is harvested from the forest. Land for agriculture destroys habitats and reduces Earth's capacity. Habitats of organisms, animals are destroyed because of deforestation. And then we are saying reduces the Earth's capacity to absorb carbon dioxide. I'm sure we remember the gaseous balance, especially in terms of the oxygen carbon dioxide balance. So this actually worsen problems to do with climate change. Climate change, it becomes worse, and then soil erosion and soil degradation, which are also as a result of deforestation and poor land management practices such as overgrazing, we talk about animals that I've mentioned in the beginning, that we have got what is called carrying capacity when the land is overgrazed. We talk about animals depending or feeding on the available vegetation to the extent that it cannot be able to recover on its own, therefore exposing the land to the soils to erosion. We talk about the loss of the much needed fertile topsoils and reduced agricultural productivity, which is also resulting in food insecurity that we are just already mentioned right now. So, in that respect, we cannot also forget the issue of biodiversity, loss of biodiversity. We talked about the variety of living organisms within a natural ecosystem. So, the destruction of habitats and overexploitation of species leads to decreased biodiversity, threatening the overall health of the planet's what sea ecosystems. Our animals and organisms, both abiotic and biotic, they are in a continuous interaction that we cannot overlook. So, in that regard, we are supposed to understand that if systems are overexploited, it results in the upset of these species interdependentness. The interdependentness of the organisms becomes a challenge, and then disruption of ecosystem balance, which we can actually relate to the above point here. We are saying there are points which are also intertwined. Removing too much of the resources or disrupting its natural habitat can throw an entire ecosystem out of balance, which we are supposed to understand that it worsens the negative effects on other species and processes. We said, for example, if you look at natural resources interdependentness, we need to know that the vegetation is important for protection of our soils. Our soils are formed because of or because of decomposition of dead trees and so forth, and also the trees, they need the soils for them to grow. We talk about animals, living animals, they also need the vegetation to feed on it. So basically, what we are saying is the natural ecosystem is destabilized because of exploitation of the natural environment. And then I've already mentioned the issue of climate change, which also caused because of use of non-renewable sources of energy, destruction of carbon sinks like the forest. The carbon sinks we are talking about, they are there to absorb what? The carbon dioxide. They are there to absorb the carbon gases that are emitted in the atmosphere. So this actually contribute to increase the greenhouse gases. We are talking about the pollutants that are in the atmosphere. It contributes to the accumulation of pollutants, gas levels, driving, which we say global warming, which we are talking about temperature what? Temperature rises, temperature increases. Temperature increases, which we talk about these effects relates to the problems to do with desertification, problems to do with uh, the melting and flooding of coastal regions and places, melting of glacier and so forth. Those problems are caused because of global warming. And then economic problems. These are challenges that has to do with the standards of living of people and also the access to wealth. So resource depletion and scarcity. Resources, they get finished and they become unavailable. So many resources are finite, meaning to say that they can finish. Finite, meaning to say that they can what? They can finish. They can finish up when they are exploited. They can get finished. So now, what we need to understand is that they are unsustainable. They can finish, they are unsustainable, leads to their depletion, creating shortages that we mean to talk about, and limiting access to future generations. That is unsustainability that we are talking about. Generations to come might not have access to these resources as a result of their finishing, as a result of their overexploitation, which is a socio-economic problem. And then food and water insecurity is caused because of environmental damage from resources exploitation. Water scarcity and late degradation can threaten the livelihoods of communities, particularly farmers. Farmers, they need a very good supply of what of water. They need a good land, in a land that is in good shape. So therefore, when we talk about environmental damage, it actually put farmers on pressure. It actually threatened the lives of farmers. So health problems would also result as from as an economic problem that can also arise. Pollution from resources extraction can cause severe health issues. I have already mentioned some of these health issues, which we say that they are respiratory diseases that can also come as a result of what? As a result of respiratory diseases that can also arise from what? That can also arise from problems to do with pollution, and then all these cannot be overlooked. And then conflict and social inequality, we have also talked about that being a resultant effect from uneven distribution of profits from resource exploitation. We have got, for example, in South Africa, the Marikana issues as one of the main problems that we can have as a typical example that has been experienced and noticed by men, that there was shooting and killing of people, that there is displacement of communities. We are saying these are social inequalities, social challenges that we cannot overlook. So competition for dwindling resources can cause social unrest and conflict. Resources, when they are finishing, people would always stampede for their availability. People would always compete. People would always try to get a portion and a share. In that regard, we have got problems that result in that sphere. So sustainability. What is sustainability, class? Sustainability, it is basically a principle of meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations. When generations that are to come, we talked about the sparing use of resources, they still need to meet their own needs. Often, quite a lot of them, we are saying they must meet their own needs, and then often framed through the three interconnected pillars of an environmental. Their needs are environmental, to mean to say that they need a safe, clean environment, social and economic well-being in terms of their living as future generations. The interdependentness or the interconnectedness of the environment, the economy, and also the social life requirements of the future generations must be met. So if that can be met, and the generations of today are also able to live, so we are talking about present. We are talking about present, and also without compromising, without endangering future generations. That can be defined as what is sustainability. So, in this concept or in this regard, we need to understand that when we are under sustainability, present people or present population is able to live very good and very economically well balanced, and also they are also not being sacrificed. But we also want to understand that there is mitigations and strategies that would result in safe management and safe welfare of generations that are to come. So in sustainability, it also involves careful resource management, protecting natural ecosystems. Natural ecosystems must be protected, promoting social equality, promoting equity or social equality. So protecting natural ecosystem, we are talking about all these strategies, management techniques that people should use in order to ensure that the interdependentness and the habitats of our ecosystems remain in shape, and ensuring economic vitality in a way that can be maintained indefinitely for all people, both now and the future. We are saying indefinitely, forever so. And then we are saying people both, which is what now and also the future, like we also mentioned already there. So when we are looking into sustainability, we must be able to ensure that there is no compromisation of either of the generations of people that we need to look at. So three pillars of sustainability, it is typically understood through these interconnectedness dimensions. That is one, the environmental, conserving our natural resources. Conserving our natural resources, we talk about all of them. We talk about the natural, the vegetation and animals, reducing waste, reducing waste. We talk about also reducing pollution. This can be done through recycling. We talk about also the safe dumping strategies, and also even some government legislative practices that also protect biodiversity and using renewable energy resources that we have. So in terms of environmental sustainability, I am sure that it is a topic that is recurring and keeping on resurfacing from our previous discussions. We once discussed it quite a lot. And then social, ensuring fair labor practices. People must be paid. People must work. Our communities, our citizens need to get jobs, and they must be compensated. Safe working conditions which can keep them healthy, which can make them to live longer. Community development. This has to do with empowerment of the people, empowerment, empowerment of our citizens. So now, therefore, an equitable distribution of resources and opportunities. Opportunities must not be concentrated in the hands of the elites alone. We are talking about the fairness in terms of the economic equity, in terms of the improvement of lives of people within a nation. So now, this has to do with social justice. This has to do with social sustainability. And then first, lastly, we are saying economic sustainability, that has to do with implementing and fostering long-term economic prosperity. Long-term economic prosperity that doesn't rely on the depletion of resources or the exploitation of people and the environment. So as you can look at this, we are saying sustainability is balanced by the three pillars: environmental, social, and economic framework. These are frameworks, these are boundaries, these are guidelines that ensure that a country is very sustainable. So why is sustainability important? One, we talk about planetary health, which has to do with unsustainable practices, risk irreversible damage to the earth, ecosystems, leading to climate change, resource scarcity, and biodiversity. Basically, this is a point that we just already discussed above there, but we are just summarizing in conclusion what we mean by sustainability and why is it important. And then obviously, it is important for human well-being. Societies are more resilient and better equipped to provide food, resources, good quality of life for current and future generations. For us to keep on having a healthy nation, it is because people are able to live a good quality of life. They are able to have uh, resilient and better skills. There are better resources. There is food. And also, we are saying naturally people are happy. And then ethical responsibility, there is a moral obligation. Ethical meaning to say something that is acceptable, acceptable standards, acceptable uh, obligations to act as responsible stewards of the planet. Just being responsible. We are talking about the reduction of waste. We are talking about avoidance of pollution to ensure the fairness and opportunity for all people now and the future. So now, what we need to look at is that this is an ethical responsibility that is the importance of sustainability, ethical, something that is understood, something that is a norm, something that is acceptable to a community, to a society. So the stewardship of the planet, managing the planet as a whole, it is the right of people. It is people who can be able to make the land or to make the natural resources remain available or be finished or extinct. So we ensure fairness and opportunity for all people, which is for now and also in the future. So, Classy, I want to appreciate your moment and your time for connecting to Metric Hub. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Let's continue. We want to finish as we finish our semester, our term. We are finishing also summing up with revision that is going to load anytime soon. But after we are done with our chapters, don't forget that we are still together. Don't forget again that next video is loading, which has to do with our soil systems, causes of soil erosion, what is where soil is, how is soil formed, the effective soil management strategies, and the effect of soil erosion in South Africa. That is the next video that is loading. Just look forward to it, and then we keep going until the whole syllabus is done, and then we do revision. Have a beautiful stay. Keep sharing, keep connected, liking and commenting our channel. So therefore, it becomes the best channel of our education, one-stop channel for our academic success. Have a beautiful stay.